Hello, I'm Sky Rothschild. Welcome, Klaus Hitler.
Welcome. It is good to see you. I am very happy to be here for this interview.
Your name, Klaus Hitler. Don't you think people will be offended by your name?
Well, I don't know, people are offended by all kinds of things. It is not my fault. If people are offended by the name Klaus, that is their problem, not mine.
Are you sure it's not something about Hitler, the name? That's why people are offended?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that seems a bit of a stretch to me.
Have you ever considered opening a department store named Hitler's?
Some investors came to me with a proposition very similar to that, and I turned them down. But it's a possibility. Who knows? There may be a Hitler department store in the future, or perhaps a line of frozen drinks.
Your song, Farts in the Fatherland, has received a lot of attention. What does it mean?
I'm very glad you asked me that question. Many people try to attach various meanings to farts in the fatherland. It could be about farts, actual physical farts, the kinds that smell and we all expel as human beings. Or it could be something greater and grander and more complex and more psychologically deep, if you will.
Before we go any further, let's take a quick look. Let's have a clip from the video of Farts in the Fatherland.
Farts in das Vaterland. Farts in das Vaterland. Farts in das Fatherland. Farts in das Fatherland.
So it's just about farts?
Yes, basically, yes.
What is your obsession with farts?
Obsession? That is a silly word. I'm not obsessed about anything, least of all farts. But what you may not know is that I cannot fart. I do not have the ability to fart. I have never farted in my entire life. I've only heard stories about people who can fart, and God knows I've smelled the farts, sometimes compulsively, obsessively smelling the farts, and people have asked me to not be a part of their lives because of it. But no, I envy other people who can fart, but I have never been able to fart myself. And so perhaps that is why I become obsessed with them, and hence why Farts in the Fatherland was created as a song, as an outlet for my frustration for not being able to fart.
So why is it that you cannot fart?
Doctors have tried to explain it to me. They have come to a consensus that because I cannot fart, I will probably explode when I reach age 60. There's not much I can do about that, so I am on a strict timeline. I must accomplish all I can before I explode.
Do you feel that farts are creative?
Yes, I suppose farts are creative for those people who are able to issue them. Farts do not appear in the great operas of the world. In a Mozart opera, there's no farting. And perhaps there should have been farting. I think that Mozart might have approved of characters in his operas who farted, but it hasn't happened. It's been this thing that is not talked about, and that was another reason I wanted it out in a song. To fart and be proud. It makes perfect sense to me.
In an opera, could you imagine sort of an alto farter or a tenor farter?
Well, I think the possibilities are endless, obviously, and I applaud, whoever moves forward in this direction. They're in uncharted territory, so to speak, or unfarted territory. You have to admit that should be on the T-shirt, yes?
Perhaps that would be the territory that you annex.
Now, let's not make those kind of jokes. We're very sensitive about that in my country. We don't like to joke about such things. Just because my name is Hitler doesn't mean I want to annex the Sudetenland. Although that doesn't seem like a terribly bad idea, come to think of it.
I hear that you have collaborated with Lars Gunblade.
In the latest music industry news, German musician Klaus wants to create a new album with controversial rock star Lars Gunblade of the No Talent Ass Clowns.
Well, Doug, I don't know what's going on. My manager asked me to work with this crowd, so okay, fine. I mean, maybe something will happen in the studio, some kind of magic, or at worst, it'll be terrible and I'll get a great tax write-off. So I figure either way, it works out for me.
I first heard the No Talent Ass Clowns several years ago in Germany, and it's very hard to get their CDs in Germany. And I heard some of their music at a poetry reading, and I said, "Oh my God, this is like the worst music I've ever heard in my life." And at the time, I was going through a deep confusion because Farts in the Fatherland was becoming popular. And I had vowed my entire life to alienate my audience. And I did not want popularity. I did not want anyone to like me or to like my music. And suddenly someone liked my music, and I knew I had to do something to end that, to totally alienate any following I might have had. And to team up with Lars Gunblade seemed like the most obvious way to do that, because if that doesn't sink my career, I'm not sure what will.
Well, Klaus Hitler, I want to thank you for coming to join me, to talk to me today. Thank you for the interview.
Farts in das Fatherland. In das Fatherland.